Yoga 101. We'll get going in about 5 minutes. So grab a water bottle, anything else you might need. Sometimes it's handy to sit up on a pillow. You also might grab a tire or a strap, although it's certainly not necessary. Anyway, yeah, just relax and we'll be with you real soon. I'm going to do some seated stuff to start. So that you grab a pillow.
Okay. Like this guy?
Yeah. Do about 4 minutes.
Cool.
So you want to move the couch.
Why?
So it's a better look.
I know it's fine. It's so heavy. I think if two people, it's fine. It's smaller space.
All right, welcome everyone. Again, my name is Mark Cormier. We're here for Yoga 101. We'll break it down a little bit more, and still a flow practice though, so make sure you're comfortable. Let me introduce my daughter Josephine. She's practicing with us this afternoon. We'll start seated, and we've got pillows. If you're comfortable sitting cross-legged without a pillow, go for it, but sometimes it's useful to sit up a little higher. Yeah. So finding your seat, I'll suggest a cross-legged sit. Generally in yoga, right leg comes in first, left leg in front. But I like to switch that up every so often, just to give some evenness to my hips. As we sit, grounded down through two sits bones, relax shoulders long and tall through the crown of the head. Without straining the neck, I'll suggest a slight tuck of the chin as we start to take our attention inward. And I'll invite you to start just by watching your breath as it flows in and as it flows out, arriving here on our yoga mats or our yoga carpet, ready for an afternoon yoga practice. from this place of just observing your breath, I invite you to shape your breath as you find a full body breath, bringing the air from the base of the belly to the top of the chest, from the top of the chest to the base of the belly, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. And a couple different choices for our exhale, either keeping the belly soft and just letting the air whoosh out, or adding a slight constriction to the low belly in and up towards the heart to squeeze a little more air out, and it also provides structural support for the low back as we move, breathe, stretch, and strengthen this afternoon. To this deeper, fuller breath, I'll invite you to move towards the Ujjayi, or ocean breath, the go-to breath in many flow practices. A slight constriction at the base of the throat to add a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice this afternoon, letting the sound and feel of the Ujjayi breath be a focus for your practice. Always coming back to that sound and feel, often compared to the sounds of the waves of the ocean as the waves wash in and as the waves wash out. To this deeper, fuller breath, I'll invite you to find the tongue loop, Jiva Bandha, tip of the tongue to the hard palate just behind the teeth. Hard to see, hard to demo, but certainly it's a very effective technique to keep our jaws relaxed and to connect front and back planes of our bodies. Finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face, a Mona Lisa smile opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, let's play with alternating nostril breath as we switch the cross of our legs. It's not part of the movement. I just want to give our hips a little different experience.
Thank you.
Yes. So we're going to close off one side of the nostril. I'll suggest using your index finger on one side or thumb on one side. That's actually the more precise way is thumb on one side, and then ring finger and little finger on the other side. You switch back and forth where I'm using the right hand here. So let's start on the left side. So we'll close off the right with the thumb. We'll breathe in left. Closing left, breathing out right. Breathing in right. Closing right, breathing out left. Breathing in left. Closing left, breathing out right. Breathing in right. Closing right, breathing out left. Breathing in left. Closing left, breathing out right. One more time around, we'll end on the right side, breathing in right. Closing right, breathing out left. Breathing in left. Closing left, breathing out right. And then both hands on our thighs for a long, smooth breath in through both nostrils. And a long, smooth breath out. From here, let's come off of our seat and find an all-fours position upon the mat or a floor. We can put excuse me, our pillow off to the side. As we hold all-fours position, I'll invite you to ground down solidly through your hands. Consider the circumference of the palm, the base of each finger, and then drawing the center of the finger up towards the shoulders as we draw the energy up from the floor. From here, starting the cat-cow combination, breathing in, lifting chin and tail. Breathing out, tucking toes, tucking tail, tucking chin. And going like this. Let me put my phone on. Do not disturb, sorry. And keep going, Josephine, and you keep going at home, please. Yeah, I just want to make sure my sound is good here.
At least it wasn't my phone.
I know.
Embarrassing as a student.
It's always embarrassing when it's the teacher's phone. I'm going to switch to the external mic here. And that might improve the sound quality. All right. Awesome. Adding on to our cat-cow combo. Breathing in, lifting chin and tail. On the exhale, big toes touch, sits bones back to the heels as we round the spine. Breathing in, coming up center, arcing the back. Exhaling, drawing it back. One more time like this, breathing in, lifting it up, Exhale, drawing it back. Let's add side to side. Breathing in, coming up center. And then drawing it back towards one heel. Inhaling, coming up center. On the exhale, finding that other heel. 2 more times each side. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, drawing it back. 1 more time each side. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, drawing it back. Let's throw a figure 8 into the mix. Breathing in, coming up center. Drawing it back towards one heel. Keep the hips low, finding that other heel. Up on the other diagonal, shifting shoulders and hips. And back to first heel. 2 more times this direction. Breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, drawing it back. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, drawing it back. Now let's switch directions. Up on the other diagonal, shifting shoulders and hips. And back to second heel. Inhaling up. Exhaling, drawing it back. 1 more time. Breathing in, lifting it up. Exhaling, drawing it back. Coming back to an all-fours position, feet hip-width apart, any amount. I'll invite you to circle those hips for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's take it the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1 more exercise in our all-fours position here, tracing a figure 8 with those hips for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll take that figure 8 the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now back to center. Let's get to a down dog using the cat dog stretch. We'll walk our hands just a little bit forward. So the wrists are in front of the elbows, elbows in front of shoulders. Let it inhale, lift chin and tail as we arc the back. And then tucking the toes, tucking tail, tucking chin as we round it in. And then moving towards neutral spine, back to the head in line with the sacrum as we push into the hands and stretch the heels down. As we hold this down dog, I'll invite you to bend one leg deeply as you ground down through the opposite heel. And then finding that same stretch on the second side as we walk the dog from side to side. Just stretching it out, seeing how your bodies feel this afternoon. What feels tight, what feels right, what feels somewhere in between. From this place of walking the dog, I'll invite you to move back towards a place of stillness, long arms, long legs, long spine, deep, full breath. And even though we're not overtly moving, there's still a lot going on. You're breathing, your heart's beating, your mind's moving from thought to thought. And trying to find a little bit more space between each thought, each beat of the heart, each breath. Now on the tail end of her breath, looking between the hands and mindfully making your way towards the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. So it's almost like the cat dog exercise here. Inhaling, neutral spine back of the head in line with the sacrum as we hinge on up. Arms overhead for hands overhead pose. On the exhale, standing tall. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart. We can line up each finger. Thumbs lightly press the heart. Coming back to that place where we started, just watching as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. From here, let's bring hands by our side, and we'll warm up, very traditional warm-up, Surya Namaskar A. This first one, I'll suggest no vinyasa. If you know the sequence and you want to throw the push-up and the back bend in, of course, go for it. Otherwise, we'll just stretch it back to down dog. Let it inhale, bring the arms up and over the head. On the exhale, finding a forward fold. Take a breath to find length as you look long, and then breathing out, I'll suggest grounding down through 2 hands as you find your down dog. And again, if you know the sequence, feel free to add in vinyasa. Otherwise, just being with your breath, being with your bodies, just being here, right now. And let me put some music on.
Hooray.
Yay. Wherever you are, always feeling free to stay there. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. On the tail end of that breath, looking between your hands as you step, or maybe you take a jump front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. Exhaling, fold. Inhaling right into breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. Second one, just like the first. Having said that, we will demonstrate vinyasa. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out, grounding down through those hands and either finding your down dog or cycling through chaturanga, the push-up. Inhaling into up dog or cobra. And then exhaling back to down dog. And holding for 4 or 5 breaths. Welcome, Nan.
Hi, man.
From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, looking between your hands as you step, or maybe take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling full. Inhaling right into breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. Let's do one more Surya Namaskar. I'll throw an option in. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa, stretching straight back, or maybe you make another choice instead. Wherever you are, breathing, watching that breath, and enjoying that reflection upon your breath. Feeling free to hold your down dog, or letting an inhale bring you forward to the top of a push-up. On the exhale, stretching it back to down dog. A couple more times, inhaling it forward. Exhaling, drawing it back. This last one, let's hold. Inhale it forward. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. One more, inhale and hold. And on that exhale, drawing it back and holding for another breath or so. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step, or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling full. Inhaling right into breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. Let's do the second traditional warm-up exercise, Surya Namaskar B. We'll do 2 of them, and we'll add some options into the mix. Let's start with our chair pose, knees over toes, hands over head. Adding an extra breath, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, we'll invite you to find a back bend at the top, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, a big swan dive. Take a breath to find length, and then breathing out back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. I'll go sideways here. Flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart for the 3-legged dog. As we lift that right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Now looking between the hands, like a snake uncoiling its tongue, moving that right foot front, spinning the left heel down. Hands can always find the hips. And then up and over the head for warrior 1. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, left leg high to the sky for the 3-legged dog. High on the right toes. Now looking between the hands like a snake uncoiling its tongue, bringing that left foot on through, spinning the right heel down, arms up and over the head for our warrior 1. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge. And then back to down dog as you will. As we hold down dog, finding your breath and watching that breath as it flows in and as it flows out. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Hail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step or take a jump front. Take a breath to finally. Exhale and fold it. On the inhale, back to our chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, neutral spine, hands by our side. One more Namaskar B, we'll add a hip opening sequence into the mix. Inhaling into our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. From down dog, flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky for the three-legged dog. High on the left toes. Now lifted leg straight, I'll invite you to stack the hips. Now bending that top leg, opening up that right hip. I'll allow you to look under that armpit to try to glimpse of that foot. And then sweeping that right foot on through, landing it lightly, spinning the back heel down, arms up and over the head for our warrior one. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Right arm, Markel, thank you for the space. From down dog, second side. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now I'll invite you to bend that lifted leg. I'll invite you to look under the armpit to try to catch a glimpse of that foot. And then sweeping that left foot on through. Landing it lightly, spinning the back heel down. Arms up and over the head for warrior one. And then riding the exhale back down to low lunge. And from low lunge back to down dog as you will. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to come back to that grounding down through the hands. Feeling the circumference of the palm grounding down through the base of each finger. And then drawing the center of the palm up towards the shoulders as we draw the energy up from the floor. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step, or maybe take that jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, fold. On the inhale, stay low. We'll come back to our chair. On the exhale, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine, hands by our side. I'll allow you to bring your hands to your heart, lining up each finger as we rest the thumbs lightly on the heart. Long through all sides of the neck, a slight tuck of the chin. As we come back to that place of just watching as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. From here, hands find the hips as we step or jump our feet hips apart. Let an inhale grow the shoulders up, around, back, and down. And then hinging at the hips, leading with the heart as we fold. Softening the knees, rounding the spine as peace sign fingers catch the big toes. Take a breath to lift chin and tail, just like the cat-dog exercise. And then folding and holding. And as we tuck the tail and tuck the chin, feeling a nice stretch along that back curve of the body. As we hold fingers to big toe pose, I want you to gently rock your head side to side, releasing tension in the neck and shoulders. You might add a little swing of the shoulders, a little sway of the hips. And then back to center, letting everything be super, super liquid, super, super loose, as any tension in the neck and shoulders drains down through the crown of the head into the earth. From fingers to big toe pose, we'll move towards hands under feet pose. Take a breath to lift chin and tail. And now folding even more as we bend the knees even more to bring the palms of the hands under the soles of the feet. Toes come to the creases of the wrists. As we hold this shape, I'll invite you to connect with your center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel, as you rock your body weight front to back, back to front. And then really connecting with that center of balance as you let a little more weight collect towards the toes, staying grounded through the heels. Drawing the energy up the inseams of the legs, where the legs connect, feeling the root lock, Mula Bandha, that engagement of the pelvic diaphragm up towards the navel. It's like a ball of energy in the very center of yourself. I'll go backwards. Josephine, you stay just as you are. I'll cue right and left. Sometimes it gets a little confusing on a video screen. Just make sure you do both sides. So I'll invite you to bring left hand off to the left, right hand under left foot, and then stepping on right hand as we stretch out right shoulder and hip. Now adding on, I'll invite you to bend that right leg deeply as we step on the hand harder. Straightening right leg, bending left leg as we step on the floor harder. 2 straight legs, right hand off to the right, left hand under right foot, and stepping on that left hand as we stretch out left shoulder and hip. Now bending that left leg, that far leg, as we step on the hand harder. Straightening far leg, bending near leg as we step on the floor harder. 2 straight legs. Let's add on one more time. Left hand off to the left, right hand under left foot. And then try to keep that far leg as straight as you can as we bring left hand to hip to start a twist. Now using that left hand to set that shoulder blade back and down onto the spine, and then stretching that hand high as we take a big breath into our back. Left hand comes down, right hand off to the right, left hand under right foot, and trying to keep that far leg as straight as you can as we bring hand to hip to start the twist. Now using that right hand to set that shoulder, now stretching hand high to the sky for a big breath into your back. Right hand comes down, 2 hands find the floor. Take a breath to set neutral spine as you bring hands onto our thighs. And then leading with the back of the heart, hinging at the hips, rising on up. And then either stepping or jumping our feet together as we bring our hands to our heart. Either keeping a light press of the palms as your weight gathers in your feet, or adding an isometric engagement as we press those palms together. Elbows wide, shoulders engaged. I'll invite you to find that engagement of the root lock as you draw the perineum up towards the navel. And then hands by our side. Working through a standing sequence with a balance challenge. Let's start with our chair pose. Knees over toes, hands overhead. Taking our chair lower. Now finding the power chair, the skier's posture. I'll invite you to play with a jump back, and if that's not part of your game, feel free just to find your down dog as you will. Jump back, we ground down through 2 palms, the hips stay high, we unfold those legs back, and then either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Welcome, Denise. From a down dog, flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Without disturbing the shoulders, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that top leg, I'd like you to look under the armpit to catch a glimpse of the foot. And then sweeping that left foot on through, landing it lightly as we spin the back heel down, finding our warrior 1 shape, arms up and over the head. As we hold warrior 1, I'll invite you to bring hands back to the hips. Let's shift weight onto the front foot as we get a little longer in our stance. And if you're already to your max, feel free to stay there. From here, let's find a tray in front, palms face up. Breathing in, let's gather energy into our center of balance, inhaling. On the exhale, let's circle the hands around. A couple more times, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in And breathing out, I'll invite you to hold this letter W shape with the arms. As you bring the elbows back, the hands come with. As we take a big breath into our heart. From here, let's turn Warrior 1 into Warrior 2. As hands find the heart, we can open up the hips to face the side wall. We can narrow the stance just a tad for heel to arch alignment. And then finding one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with a mixture of effort and ease. From here, let's paint rainbows. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. One more time, breathing in, lifting it up. On the exhale, finding your Warrior 2. From here, let's move towards our triangle pose. Thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib. As we deepen that crease, we can lengthen those ribs. And then grounding bottom hand down in an appropriate place, either on shin or thigh. If you put it on the kneecap, it kind of fits, but you want to make sure that you keep a little bend in the knee. You don't want to push your knee back. From here, we can use that top hand to set that shoulder. We can stretch that hand high to the sky. As we hold the triangle, with every in-breath gathering energy in your center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel. With every out-breath, send that energy out through 2 arms, 2 legs, both ends of the spine, as you make yourselves bigger in space from the inside out. Exploring our lateral top line, I'll invite you to exhale that top hand front as we turn our heart to the floor. On the inhale, lifting hand high as we spin heart to sky. A couple more times. Exhaling. And inhaling. Exhaling. And inhaling. Now we're going to add on. Exhaling, hand front. Bottom hand joins. We take that little quarter twist out of the torso, pure side motion. We breathe 2 hands up. And exhale it over. 2 hands up. Exhale it over. 2 hands up. Exhale it over and hold. I'll invite you to wiggle those fingers, keeping your hands supple. And then either back to your triangle pose or playing with your half moon. As hand finds the hip, we scoot that back foot in. Setting our base, right hand off to the right. Shifting weight into right foot and right hand. We lift that back leg any amount. We can set that top shoulder. We can stretch hand high, either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up past those top fingers with that mixture of effort and ease. Again, as we hold the shape with every breath in, breathing air or energy into your center of balance. Every breath out, sending that energy out through the arms, the legs, both ends of the spine. Coming down with grace and control, I'll invite you to bring that top hand to the hip. We can bend the standing leg, back foot low, 2 feet find the floor as we come back to our Warrior 2. From Warrior 2, I'll suggest a big windmill of the arms as we stretch out our shoulders for low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Wherever you are, feeling free to follow your flow, feel free to follow your breath. Wherever you are, always feeling free to stay. From down dog, we're going to move towards the second side. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart, left leg high to the sky for the 3-legged dog. High on the right toes. Without disturbing the shoulders, lifted legs straight as you stack those hips. Now bending that leg, opening up that hip, I'll invite you to try to catch a glimpse of that foot under the armpit. And then sweeping that left foot out through, landing it lightly, spinning the back heel down as we find our Warrior 1, arms up and over the head. From here, let's bring hands back to the hips, and if appropriate for your stance, I'll invite you to slide that back foot back for more stretch in your legs. From here, we can square the shoulders. We can find a clasp of the fingers behind the head, open heart, open throat, and then finding a tray in front. Breathing in as we gather the energy in. Exhaling as we offer it out. Inhaling. And exhaling. One more time. Breathing in. Breathing out. I'll invite you to hold this letter W shape. Taking a big breath into your heart. The elbows move back. The hands come back. Now turning warrior one into warrior two. As hands find the heart, we open up the hips. We can narrow our stance just a tad as we find one long arm looking out over those front fingers with that mixture of effort and ease. From here, painting rainbows, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling, warrior two. And then moving towards our triangle, thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib. As we deepen that crease, we lengthen those ribs. We ground bottom hand down in an appropriate place, either on the shin or the thigh. I know it's tempting to use the knee. Go for it. Make sure that knee pushes into the hand as much as the hand pushes into the knee. You don't want to move towards hyperextension. We can set the shoulder. We can stretch hand high, either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up past those top fingers with that mixture of effort and ease. The Sanskrit word for effort is sthira. Sanskrit word for ease is sukha. So sthira, stirring it up energy, effort energy. Sukha, the sugary energy, the easeful energy. From our triangle pose, we'll explore that lateral top line. As we exhale that hand front, little quarter twist of the torso as we turn heart to the floor. Inhaling, lifting hand high as we spin heart to sky. A couple more times. Exhaling. And inhaling. Exhaling. And inhaling. Exhaling. Now the bottom hand joins. We take that little quarter twist out of the torso. Pure side motion. We breathe two hands up. And exhale it over. Two hands up. Exhale it over. Two hands up. Exhale it over and hold as we reach. I'll invite you to wiggle those fingers, keeping your hands supple. And then either back to Trikonasana, the triangle, or moving towards the half moon, hand finds the hip. We scoot that back foot in. Left hand also just well off to the left for a nice wide base here. And we'll shift weight into left hand and left foot as we lift back leg up. We can set the shoulder, we can stretch hand high, either looking down off to the side or up to the sky. As we hold it 4 or 5 breaths, with every breath in, gather the energy in that center of balance. With every breath out, sending that energy out as you make yourselves bigger in space. And always keeping that easeful quality to the breath. From here, coming down with grace and control. Hand finds the hip. We can bend the standing leg. Back foot low, 2 feet find the floor. Coming back to your warrior two. And then I'll suggest that big windmill of the arms as you find low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. As we hold this down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention back to the base of your throat. From that place, listening and feeling as your Ujjayi breath, your ocean breath flows in. And as your Ujjayi, your ocean breath flows out. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step, or maybe take a jump. Take a breath to find life. Exhale and fold. On the inhale, let's come back to our chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, a little back bend at the top. On the exhale, hands by our side. I'll invite you to bring hands to heart, either keeping a light press of the palms as your weight collects in your feet, or adding an isometric engagement as we press those palms together, elbows wide, shoulders engaged. I'll invite you to find that Mula Bandha, that lifting of the perineum up towards the navel, feeling that strong, strong inner strength. And then hands by our side. Let's work through another standing sequence with a balance challenge at the beginning. As we bring hands to hips, we'll shift weight onto our right foot. Left foot gets light. We're moving towards tree pose here. We can have our kickstand tree, toes on the floor. Heel fits really nicely on that ankle knob. Without assistance, you can probably bring foot onto the side of the shin. Without assistance, you can probably find the knee. If you do with that, make sure that that knee is pushing as much into the foot as the foot presses into the knee. With assistance, we can reach down and catch the foot and bring it under the thigh. From here, we can bring hands back to our hips. We can use this left hand to open up that hip just a little bit more. Either staying hands on hips, or bring hands to heart. Trees wobble, no big deal. Maybe we stretch those hands out. And let's make our tree wobble a little bit more. So we bring our hands out to the side, palms face up. I'll invite you to take a little twist towards that bent front leg. Exhaling. Inhaling a little twist away from that bent front leg. A couple more times. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. And then back to center. Let's bring fingertips onto our shoulders. From here, let's roll one shoulder front and then the other. For 2, for 3, and then taking those asymmetrical shoulder rolls the other way. 1,
That's really hard.
2, and I just made it up, and 3. From here, 2 hands high to the sky. Let's bring left hand by left hip. We'll take a little side bend to the left. Inhale through center. We'll take a little side bend to the right. Wow.
I think you've been practicing.
You're making me laugh. We're going back to kickstand tree for these last 2. To the left. To the right. To the left. And to the right. And then back to center. Let's bring hands back to our hips. Let's swing that left knee front. Let's lean a little bit forward as we go long through the leg with a soft point to the toe. Lifting that leg a little higher. Now let's land that leg lightly in a cross step. From here, let's soften our knees a lot. Front of the back knee pushes into back of the front knee as we lower our center of balance. Arms up and over the head, inhaling. And on the exhale, leading with the heart into our forward fold. Take a breath to lift chin and tail, and then folding and holding. Another great place to relax the neck and heavy the head. Again, I'll invite you to add a little swing of the head, a little sway of the shoulders, a little swing of the hips. Just releasing tension in our bodies and just letting it drain down through the crown of the head into the earth. Now let's find bigger movement here as we find circlings of the hips one way. It could be big circles, little circles, fast circles, small circles. Let them be your circles as we really invite prana, life force into our hips. And then taking those circles the other way. From here, let's unwind the legs as we step our left foot back to find our low lunge. Let's keep that back heel lifted as we move towards high crescent lunge prep, bringing hands to our hips. Let me go sideways here so you can see that lifted back heel. From here, once you have your balance, let's stretch those hands high to the sky for a high crescent lunge. This next one, we want to keep the knee over the heel in line with the toes. We are going to bend the back leg just a little bit and then straighten it again. So we're not bobbing up and down too much. We're stretching out the psoas on that back thigh. Let's let you do 4 or 5 of these, just bending the leg a little bit, trying to keep that front leg perfectly stable. And then straightening that back leg. From here, let's bring hands back to our hips and let's spin that back heel down now. Moving towards revolved extended side angle. Right hand, front leg hand, is going to keep that hip nice and stable. We're going to find length on the far side as we straighten the front leg, inhaling. On the exhale, reach, reach, reach. A couple more times, reaching up, and then reaching out. Reaching up, and then reach, reach, reach. Now we're going to start with the wrist. We're going to slide to the elbow. Oh, sorry. And then we're going to find our prayer hands, either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up past that top elbow with that steady yet relaxed gaze. We're twisted, we're balancing, still finding smooth breaths in, smooth breaths out. Always in yoga, if the breath gets, you start to heave or pant, working too hard. Having said that, you do want to feel pleasant acceleration of your vital processes, at least in a flow class. Some of the other styles, yin yoga, you want to feel a slowing of those processes. Let's come out of our twist easily as we frame our front foot with both hands. Let's take a big step back as we find our low lunge. And from low lunge back to down dog. As you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. From our down dog shape, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step. Or maybe take a jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to finally. Exhaling, folding. On the inhale, let's do something different here. As we go wide with our feet, soft knees as we catch opposite elbows, and gently swaying yourself from side to side. Now switching the cross of the elbows, keep swaying side to side. And we want to give our low back lots of support here. So we'll come center, we'll bring hands on thighs. And as we round our spines on up, it's different than a hinge. Chin is tucked, we stack the vertebrae as we push into the thighs with our hands. Lifting the chin tall to the crown, I invite you to find two hands high in the air as if you're holding a big ball. Let's take 3 big full body breaths, and our fingers and hands can mimic our roots. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. And then I'll invite you to bring hands to heart, either keeping that light press of the palms as your weight collects in your feet, or adding that isometric engagement as we press the palms together, elbows wide, strong, steady, and engaged in our center. And then hands by our side. So let's jump it in thin like a pin. We'll do that same sequence on our second side. Hooray! Hands find the hips. We shift weight onto left foot. Now we got lots of options here. If you pick an option and you fall out of it, just come back to this kickstand option. Great place to hang out. Calf option is not too far away. The knee option, you want to be careful, although it does seem like the foot really fits perfectly, almost like a Lego piece. Most yoga classes, we bring it up onto the thigh. We'll try to hold that. We can use this hand to open up that right hip. Hands can stay on the hips. You can skip all the tomfoolery that's about to happen. Otherwise, we can bring hands to heart as we engage our intention. And then we can stretch those hands high. Now, real trees always wobble. The tree that doesn't wobble falls down. So if there's gravity waves passing through your body, that's just a natural thing. Arms out to the side, palms face up. We'll take a little twist towards the bent front leg. We'll twist through center and twist it the other way. Coordinated with the breath, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. And then back to center. Woohoo! We've got our bird beak hands here. We bring bird beaks onto our shoulders. Roll one shoulder front, any amount, and then the other. Here comes 2.
Wow, this one's so much harder.
And we'll take it the other way. 1, 2, and 3. And then back to center, shoulders settle down. 2 hands high in the air, right hand by left hip, or right hip. We'll take a little side bend to the right. Inhale through center, side bend to the left. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more to go. We have this. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Whoa. And then back to center. Woo. Hands find the hips. We're going to swing that right knee front. You can always tap the toe down to reset. And we're going to lean a little bit forward as we go along through the leg. Lifting that leg a little higher. And then we're going to land it lightly in a cross step. Front of the back knee pushes into the back of the front knee as we lower our center of balance. Keeping neutral spine, arms up and over the head. And then on the exhale, finding your forward fold. Just like in the sun styles, lifting chin and tail. And then folding and holding. Relaxed neck, heavy head. I'll allow you to connect with your own inner liquidity, your own water element, just a little swing, a little sway, head, neck, shoulders, hips. Just starting to feel the various energy currents that move through our body. In yoga, thinking there's 10,000 currents. I think 10,000 is just an abbreviation for there's a lot of them. Your nerves, your blood vessels, capillaries, all part of our energetic body. Now coming back center, I'll invite you to add bigger movement as you circle those hips. Fast, slow, small, little, big. And then taking those circles the other way, just inviting prana, life force, waking up our hips. Now back to center, let's carefully unwind our legs as we step that right foot back to find our low lunge. Let me go sideways again here so you can see that lifted back heel. As we move towards high crescent lunge prep, we're going to bring our hands to our hips to find our balance. And then we're going to stretch our hands high to the sky. In this particular shape, we want to keep knee over heel, center of the knee in line with second and third toe. We want this front leg to stay super, super straight. You're going to bend the back leg. You're not bobbing up and down too much, yeah. And then reach and then straighten. And just kind of do that on your own pace. So it's not up and down, up and down. It's more just really trying to connect with that psoas of the back leg. And just feeling that. Another couple times, just make sure.
Just click whatever says not now.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find the mouse. And then finding a straight back leg. From our straight back leg, let's bring hands back to the hips as we spin that back heel down. We're going to anchor that front hip with front hand. We're going to find length in the far side of the body, reaching up and then reaching out. Reaching up and then reaching out. One more time. Reaching up and then reaching out. We're going to move towards our twist. We can start with the wrist. We can slide to the elbow. We can find our prayer hands, either looking down, off to the side, or up to the sky. As we hold the shape, we're twisted, we're balancing. You're still finding an easeful breath in and an easeful breath out. Coming out of our twist easily as we frame front foot with both hands, spinning back heel up. You take a big step back if you want a little more space for your low lunge. And from low lunge, one more time this afternoon, moving towards our down dog as you will, either cycling through chaturanga, inhaling into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, the upward facing dog, or just skipping that and stretching back. Another great choice would be a child's pose. Indeed, let's all of us find a child's pose. As we ground down through the knees, sits bones back to the heels. I'll invite you to have the arms in extension as we heavy ourselves down towards the floor. Just taking a couple of breaths here, just letting yourself be super, super heavy. As we hold this child's pose, feeling your belly massage your thighs, feeling your thighs massage your belly. Now, keeping hips and heels just as they are, I'll invite you to walk your hands to one side, getting a nice stretch, and that far side waist, that far hip. Breathing into that stretch, breathing into that sensation. And now walking your hands through center and finding that second side. Getting a nice stretch in that side waist, nice sensation, stretch in the hip. Just breathing into that sensation. And now let's bring our hands center. Let's walk our hands in and bring our feet off to one side. And let's do a little bit of core. Not too hard. Make sure you got some space behind you though. So why don't you come forward a little bit. I think you're good. Maybe a little bit tight quarters here, but I want to go sideways and I'll make sure people can see me. So let's start from neutral spine, so my back and head's in line with the sacrum. From here, I'm going to tuck the tail, I'm going to tuck the chin. It's called C-spine. We're going to slowly roll it on down, slow, slow, slow. When we get down, I'm going to invite you to find a full body stretch. As you stretch those arms overhead, I'll invite you to point fingers and toes as we breathe in. Breathing out, flexing hands and feet. A couple more times. Breathing in as we point. Exhale as we flex. Breathing in as we point. Exhale as we flex. From here, let's bring hands by our hips as we walk our feet in. From here, let's flex the right foot. Let's bring it on top of the left thigh. Let's bring our left knee in towards our heart as we reach on through to catch thigh or shin for laying down figure 4 shape. And as we hold the shape, this is an action, not a movement. You want to feel your tailbone stretching down towards the floor as you find a little bit more space in your low back. As we hold this laying down figure 4 shape, I'll invite you to rock your body weight side to side, just massaging your low back, massaging your kidneys, connecting with that water element. We're keeping everything flowing. And then coming back center. I'll invite you to release the thigh or the shin, grounding down through that foot. Top foot stays flexed as you bring it off the thigh. Grounding down through that foot. And then we'll find our second side. Left foot comes on top of right thigh. And then we draw that knee on in. We reach through to catch thigh or shin. And then again, it's an action, not a movement. You want to feel your tailbone stretching forward and down towards the floor as we find a little more space in our low back. And as we hold this second side, just gently rocking your figure 4 shape, side to side, massaging your back, massaging your kidneys, just keeping everything flowing. And then coming back center. Hi everyone. Coming back to a focus on your breath. From this place, let's ground down through that foot. Let's keep the top foot flexed as we bring it off the thigh, solidly grounding down through 2 feet. Let's do one more shape here before we lay down and relax. I'll invite you to find a happy baby as you draw 2 knees in, soles of the feet face the sky. We reach up to catch our ankles or the outside edges of the feet as we heavy the knees down towards the floor. As we hold this shape, I'll invite you to gently rock it side to side, again, massaging your back, massaging those kidneys. And then coming back center, coming back to a focus on your breath, watching as it flows in and watching as it flows out. From this place, I'll invite you to move towards a Shavasana as we go long through the legs. Arms out to the side, the palms face up. Lots of room for your armpits to breathe. Scooting the head back as you flatten the shoulders. I'll invite you to release the tip of the tongue from the hard palate just behind the teeth. So the tip of the tongue is now neutral in the mouth. Still breathing in and out through the nose, but a slight part to the lips. As we hold this shape, initially staying with that focus on the breath, but as we hold Shavasana or find a relaxation shape, even letting that focus soften as we take our senses inside. We'll be here a couple minutes in this room. If you're at home, feeling free to hold your Shavasana. When I practice by myself, sometimes I'll hold it 10, 15 minutes. And towards the end of those minutes, you really do get a real deep sense of relaxation. And that's what the practice really is all about. We do a lot of movement, a lot of breath. So at the end, we can lay down on the floor and be still and peaceful. I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times. I invite you to listen to the start of the ring and just follow it through to the end. So if you're at home, feeling free to stay in your Shavasana. Here in this room, I'll invite you to wiggle your fingers and toes as we invite more prana, more life force into our bodies. Now inviting that prana to move in towards center as we gently circle our wrists and our ankles. I'll invite you to add a little shimmy of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips, whatever feels right and good for you. Listening to your body, and even more important is respecting what your body has to say. You do exactly what it wants, exactly what it needs, exactly what you want, exactly what you need. Now drawing one knee at a time in towards your heart as your hands catch your shins. And finding Apanasana, just using your thighs to gently massage your center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel, as you gently lift and lower your low back and hips. This is an excellent pose for digestion as we digest the fruits of our practice. From here, I'll invite you to stretch long through an arm, rolling towards that arm, letting it serve as a cushion for the head. As you share a long, slow breath here on the floor, I'll invite you to let that breath sigh out through your mouth. As you relax your shoulders, soften your jaw, soften the corners of your eyes. Keeping your neck relaxed and your face soft, I'll invite you to press up to a cross-legged sit. Feel free to grab your yoga pillow. Helps to sit up on some height sometimes. As we sit, I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your knees, pulling back with your hands to sit up a little straighter, a little taller. A slight tuck of the chin without straining the neck. Ending our practice as we start, watching as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bring your hands to your heart and bow as you thank yourselves for practicing yoga. And as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world. Namaste. Thank you all very much for practicing with me this evening. I think the schedule will stay the same through June for the Bay Club. And we hope to get back to our physical facilities real soon. And I really hope to see you in a physical fashion. I'm not sure quite what that context will be, but looking forward to it. The tennis courts are open here in San Francisco. I think some of the pools are open and some of the other venues. Hopefully we'll get the pools open here. And hopefully we'll get our group expo down soon enough. Anyway, stay tuned. Thank you so much for practicing with me. And thank Josephine for practicing with us.
Thank you for thanking me.
Of course.